let's begin. We're going to just start off with 3 deep breaths. They can be any breaths that you would like. I am going to take a deep breath without any intentional movement and just notice how my spine changes as I take the biggest breath that I possibly can. So inhaling, 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 trying to fill my lungs. And exhaling as completely as possible. And I'm just trying to notice what my rib cage is doing, squashing the air out, and what my spine is doing as I try and squeeze every little morsel right out of my body. And then I'm going to do another breath, but just try and make it even bigger. So inhaling and noticing and exhaling as I notice. And then this last breath, I'm going to inhale my arms up overhead because that always feels wonderful for me. Do what serves you. And exhaling my arms down and back behind me. So today, as part of our full body movement break, we're going to start off with some big circles through our major joints. And I'm going to start off with my head and neck. So starting with my head, my left ear leaning towards my left shoulder, bringing my head forward, over to the right. If you would like to bring your head back, you can, but I encourage you to be looking up towards the ceiling, reaching for the ceiling with your chin, rather than flopping the back of your head onto the back of your neck. And if you would like to skip that part, you can also roll, just focusing on 3/4 of the circle. So left ear to left shoulder, chin to chest, right ear to right shoulder, and then chin to chest, and left ear to left shoulder. So choosing your own adventure here in the ways that work for you and your body today. And whenever you are ready, we're going to move on to shoulders. So there's another choose your own adventure with shoulders here as well. I'm doing really big shoulder circles right now, but I don't have to do them with my arms down by my sides. I could also hold on to my shoulders and draw the biggest circles that I possibly can with my elbows around that shoulder joint, trying to get as much of that circle behind my shoulders as possible. Maybe I reverse the direction too, just for a little fun variety. And I can also mix it up by doing one full arm circle at a time. So right now my arm is straight, no holding onto my shoulders needed. And one arm, and then alternating to the other arm. And when I do it this way, I'm getting in a little tiny spinal twisting. Boy, does that feel good. Some stretching up. So you're going to choose your own adventure. You're going to take the time to notice and experiment with what works well for you. I just reverse direction with this variety of circle as well, for the fun of it. You don't have to, can if you want to. Beautiful. And whenever you're done with those shoulder circles, we're going to move on to our hip joint. Well, actually, hold on. We're going to do our elbows here, where we're drawing the biggest circle that I possibly can around my elbow joint with my fist. Hopefully you can see that all right. There's a lot of beige going on in my background and my pants and my skin today. And then we're going to take our fists and do some circles for our wrists. I was going to move on to lower body, and then I thought, no, we can do better. Got both directions on my wrist. If you haven't, you can switch or not. You can savor what you're doing already. And now, whenever you're ready, we'll go down the hips. And I'm going to take my knee and draw the biggest circle I possibly can around my hip joint. Now, if your balance isn't perfect, there's no shame in holding on to something. A wall, a chair, a table, definitely something that doesn't have wheels on it, right? Door handles can be great for this, especially if the door is shut. Sometimes a door handle is nice and solid and good to hold on to. I've done about 4 circles there with my knee. I'm going to reverse direction. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I sound like Rice Krispies today. Always exciting when I have one of those days where I'm just snap, crackle, and popping all over the place. And then I'm going to do some circles, drawing a nice big circle around my knee with my foot. Let me adjust so you can see that a little bit better. Just trying to move a little bit in some unusual directions, but not painful directions. Thinking about letting the joints lubricate, getting a little movement variety, and then we'll switch sides. And now I'm drawing the biggest circle I can with my knee around my right hip bone. And I'm reversing direction on the circle. And now I'm going to use my foot to draw big circles around my knee. Hopefully it's obvious, but just in case, your knee does not have to be as high up as my knee is. You can have your knee much lower and this will still work. I'm just trying to make it visible for you. If you want, you can reverse the direction. Beautiful. All right, both feet on the floor. We are going to now adjust and do some stretching. So I'm going to tip forward into a forward fold, which just means I am hinging at my hips here, and I'm going to walk my hands down my legs. Nice flat back, nice soft bend in your knee. And just go down to the point that it feels like a good old morning stretch. Not an evil stretch, not a why is she making me do this stretch. And if you're up here, that's fine. And if your face is on your shins, that's fine, right? Wherever you're at, that's wonderful. Sometimes it does feel nice to support yourself in this position, just because we don't have our best strength at the end of our range of motion. And so either a chair or your own knees can be really nice. Your feet can be as wide or as narrow as you would like. For many people, it's a little bit more comfortable when your feet are wide. So you can always experiment with that. And whenever you're done with doing this in a flat back position, you can really drop your lower body and just hang. Now, sometimes when you're hanging, it feels good to sway side to side. And if that does not feel good, there is no obligation to do it that way. One last deep breath here. And we'll come on up using the power from your legs and your hamstrings, your glutes to help you rise. If you do need to walk your hands back up to support yourself, that's cool too. And now, taking care of the back of our legs a bit, we're going to take care of our hip flexors, so the front of the leg. And to do this, I'm going to have my right foot planted forward, and I'm going to step my left leg back into this sort of lunge position or big step position. The knee of the front leg does not have to be bent, but you do have to tuck your pelvis. So take your tailbone and tuck it under until you're able to feel a stretch in the front of the leg going back. In my case, it's my left leg. And you also want to square up your hips. So if you put your hands on your hip bones, make sure they're squarely facing over that front foot. Beautiful. And now you can take your left hand, reach it up and over. Just noticing how that changes the stretch. It will intensify it generally. If you take a deep breath here, you may notice yourself settling into the position and finding that you would be comfortable with going even a little bit deeper. So if you feel that way, try and tuck your pelvis just a little bit more. You can bend the front leg and sink down into the stretch. You can also drag your left hip forward just a little bit more to intensify. Beautiful. You can come on out of that stretch now. And now what we're going to do is we're going to try and get a calf stretch. So leave the left leg back. If you need to tip forward slightly with your upper body to take the pressure off of your hip flexors, that's fine, but we want to be pushing our weight into the back heel. Trying to feel a calf stretch. And then to feel that calf stretch, I have to bend my right knee a little bit just to increase the angle with the foot and the calf. So this is my leg. Oh, how do I do this? This is my foot here. This is my leg here. The stronger that angle is, the more calf stretch I'm getting. So while you can't see my feet, these are my makeshift feet. And we want to increase that angle to get a good stretch. One last breath here. Just finding and enjoying the stretch. Beautiful. Now I'm going to step my left foot forward and I'm going to take my right foot and swing it back here. So I've got that big step, plenty of space between my feet. I will tell you that when I step back, I don't keep my feet in a straight line. I keep my feet staggered. So my right leg just moves back. It does not move back and in line with the left leg. I hope that's helpful and makes sense. It will be easier to balance this way. Either way, no shame in holding onto a wall or any other solid object. Here again, I'm going to tuck my pelvis, finding that stretch to the front of the right hip. And then I'm going to square up my hips so that my hip bones, if I hold on to them, they are definitely facing over that front leg. And if I would like, I can use the arm, reach it up and over to increase the stretch, change it just a little bit here. And now we're going to hang out in this position for a moment, taking some really nice deep breaths, settling in, noticing the different parts of our body that are at play here. And if you have it in you, it never hurts to appreciate your body as well. So just noticing how tight your hip flexors are, you could say, gosh, hip flexors, you've been working really hard. Thank you very much. Job well done. I should give you a little bit more love some point soon. And whenever you're ready, we're going to take care of that calf of the right leg, the back leg. Maybe you're not on the right leg. And if you would like to take the pressure off of your hip flexor so you can focus on your calf, you absolutely can tip forward slightly. If you had a wall in front of you, it can be nice to use the wall to push your weight into that back heel just to enjoy that calf stretch. Just putting my hands on my front thigh instead, though. If you had an active weekend, you might have some tight calves as well. Maybe you did a bit much of the bird watching and bird listening, and it took you all over the place. Beautiful. Whenever you're ready, come on out. And you're just going to choose one last stretch for any body part. and we're going to spend 30 seconds doing it together. I'm going to clasp my hands behind my back, draw my knuckles down in space, roll my shoulders open, and just enjoy this as a nice chest stretch for myself. And I'm just playing with a few angles by moving my head side to side. Take a deep breath wherever you're at in your stretch. Inhaling as much air as your lungs can hold. And exhaling it all right back out. And that's your stretch break for the day. Thank you all so much for joining. Hope you have a wonderful afternoon. Take care, everybody.